Welcome back, everyone, to another episode in the titanium series. Today I have for you the SHF, which is also known as Spartan Harsey Folder. Spartan Blades is a U.S. manufacturing company, and they collaborated with U.S. knife maker and designer Bill Harsey. That's his signature welt right there. Look at some measurements. This is coming in at 8 3/4 of an inch. Cutting edge is about 3.5 inches. Is that a little larger? Yeah, about 3.5 inches. The blade actually stops about right there, so the full length of the blade is closer to 4 inches. And then the handle is coming in at 4 5/8 of an inch. We got the width coming in about 1 3/8 of an inch. And the thickness is slightly under 1/2 inch. Let's take a look at the weight. .96 ounces, just shy of 6 ounces. And you can definitely feel that in your hand. But I would say overall, for the size, under 6 ounces is not bad. And it's all titanium. Let's look at some comparisons. So it's been often referred to that the Harsey folder is similar to the Sebenza. So that's the Sebenza 31 on top, as well as an XM18, which is on the bottom. As you can see, it is larger than both of these knives. Primarily, the blade is overshadowing the blades on these two. Let's talk about that blade. So we got a nice stonewash drop point blade. It's got a couple markings with USA, that's where it's made. Steel type is Magnacut, and that is Spartan Blades insignia. On the other side, Bill Harsey, or William Harsey Jr., his insignia is right there, signature. This uses thumb stud as the opener. You can slow roll it open, flick it open. It's got jimping on the spine, right where the thumb ramp happens. It's not overly aggressive, but it will provide some traction. This one has bronze anodized thumb studs. And going back to the edge, so it tapers off right about there. So there's about 1/4 of an inch of the blade that that's not sharpened all the way through too. This is the thickness behind the edge. I wouldn't call this a great slicer, but it's a great EDC, versatile in different tasks. Let's talk about the handle. So this particular one has a CAD custom graphics of a koi fish. It's nicely done on both sides, lots of detail. Love how these flowers pop with bronze coloring. It uses 2 body screws for the standoffs, as you can see, which are both anodized as well. You can see this side has a filler tab, so you could swap it out if you want, if you're a left-handed carry individual. It's got a barrel pivot, which really just means it's larger. And use a blade stop right there, as you can see, contacts it. It is a titanium frame lock. And it's a slight cutout right there, so it kind of gives you that extra ramp, I guess. It's actually not that much of a cutout into a relief into the lock bar, but I've never really had any issues disengaging it. That hole is where the D10 ball is. And what's kind of cool about this design, this is an upgraded design from one of their earlier models. This side of the pivot used to be smaller, so they enlarged it so it matches the size on the show side, and it acts like an over travel stop. So there's a cutout on the lock bar that contacts this part of the pivot, so it will grab it and prevent it from overextending as you're unlocking it. Let's talk about the pocket clip. This is also bronze anodized, slightly different coloring than the hardware and thumb stud. It's got quite a bit of retention, slightly stiffer, probably a 4 out of 5 on my random scale rating. It's got good enough ramp. It's going to get through most material thicknesses. Let's take a look at that in the pocket. Go. It's not a deep carry pocket clip, as you can tell, so you will have a bit of knife sticking out. Personal preference, I typically don't mind. It gives you enough knife to grab it as you retrieve it from your pocket. So look about there. Real estate, it's moderate. It does take up enough space, yet it does leave enough space for you to get your hand in there as well. Let's talk about availability and price point. So as I took a look on the internet right now, I don't see this particular variant with the koi fish in Magnacut available. I do see the koi fish with S45VN available. The models have transcended from S35VN, S45VN, and now majority of newer models and batches being released are in Magnacut. There are plenty of different variations, and kind of just give you some comparisons. We have this one on top. This is a Knife Art exclusive that has a carbon fiber outer lay. And I say outer lay because inlays are typically within the frame. And this one sticks out a little bit, so it does protrude. But this is cool too because it gives you that additional filler in your hand. And then you have your plain J model, all titanium. The last time I checked, the plain J models are $460. This particular one is $550. And while this one I got is in S45VN, the newer model, which is available with the carbon fiber, is on Knife Art for $550. Knife Art also has this one, but in the S45VN rather than Magnacut, and that's going for $550. They also have a Damascus version of this particular design that is going for $650. So these knives are widely available, and again, there's so many different variations. So, you know, to your heart's content, you'll have a lot of options to choose from. let's talk about my final thoughts. I really like this knife. It does remind me the heft and feel of a Hinderer XM18, and but the shape of it, at least from here on, maybe until you get to about here, does remind me of a Chris Reeve. It's just larger than a Chris Reeve Sebenza. I sharpened this one up. It was fairly easy, didn't have any troubles with it. You do have to be careful since the edge only comes to about right there. You can either throw some tape around here to protect it from over sharpening, or if you want to bring the edge all the way through the end, you can as well. Forgot to mention, on the handle there is jimping as well, so it's extended essentially. So if you were to kind of more have a saber grip, you could choke up and get some grip right there on the jimping, or you can choke up on the blade and then start using the jimping on the thumb ramp. In reverse grip, it also feels comfortable. There's jimping along here. I still don't quite understand why they put jimping on this side. You would think jimping would be on this side, but perhaps I just don't know any better. So if you know why they put jimping on the inside of the handle, on the back portion of the handle, bottom, I mean, please drop a comment. Let me know why. In a neutral grip, it's comfortable. I wouldn't say this is a hot spot. As you can see, it comes in about right there. Latch control, the balance is more handle heavy than blade, but overall fairly well balanced, I would say. Took a look at their warranty, and though I haven't used it, they do offer a warranty. It's supposed to be limited, it's lifetime warranty, but of course they have all your disclaimers about how you use your knife. So if you're just abusing it, they're probably not going to cover it. I read that do only warrant the original owners, so based on that, I would assume you should want to keep track of your receipt if you're buying it new. For $550, this is, you know, in the competitive landscape of a Sebenza, which if I was to pick one, I would pick the Sebenza over this. But if you want to add another great USA made folder into your collection, especially from a designer who is well known, he's worked with Gerber, as well as Chris Reeve, Bill Harsey. But yeah, this is a great option. All right, well, really appreciate your time. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments if you have one yourself, how you feel about it. What are your thoughts? Make sure you subscribe if you want to get notified for the next video. Realize you do have to click that bell icon, otherwise subscribing doesn't necessarily notify you. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Stay frosty.